Do you know that according to volunteeramerica.gov, on average, only 26% of the U.S. population volunteers on a regular basis? Their statistics also point out that communities that have a greater number of single-family dwellings have a higher volunteer rate, and this can be contributed to the sense of belonging and being part of the community. Typically, volunteer rates in college towns are higher nationally due to young people getting involved. Volunteer rates among the older population are higher as well due to having more time to devote and give back. This and the culture with which they were raised. Sacrifice was commonplace. The informal survey that I conducted of my classmates showed that the volunteer rate was higher than the national average of 26%, and it was actually 58%. I highly recommend doing some volunteer work, especially if you haven't done any before. It is a great way to become more connected to people and your community. Your biggest problems in life will seem minor when you help out people less fortunate. You can use volunteerism to face some of your fears by pushing yourself to grow and face them head on. Volunteering is an activity, but it is also an attitude. To volunteer to help people, not expecting anything in return, and that in itself is what is so rewarding. I didn't realize that I already volunteered until I took the Kirkpatrick Series course at Bellevue University. That course required community service as a requirement, and then you had to write a paper about your community service. I chose to do community service at my senior care facility because after that I realized that I'd already given blood and I already give time and energy to my church. So I wanted to do something different. You should give volunteering a try. The rewards are many, and the ways you touch others is profound. The nice thing about most volunteer work is that you can quit at any time, so you won't have to make any long-term commitments. But you know, people have many reasons or excuses for not volunteering. An article written by Carrie Henley for the Huffington Post entitled, "Why Don't We Volunteer?" provides several common excuses used for not volunteering. Some of them which are not feeling qualified. You don't know what to do. You're worried you'll be sucked into paying a lot of money and you can't afford to donate anymore. You're afraid it would take too much time. I'm overcommitted, and right now, as it is. I have small kids and can't get away. My giving bone is stretched to the max. Not knowing where to go or what cause moves you, and an example would be soup kitchens aren't my thing. Additionally, there's articles written by Misty Small and John High for the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. The phrase community service has a negative connotation. It makes it sound more like a requirement. An example would be that it's mandated by court or required for school. But volunteering has no negative aspects. But just think what volunteering really is. A Time magazine article dated September 21st, 2011 provides great ideas for anyone who wants to get involved in their community. It's not complicated. Anybody can do it. It doesn't have to be large organized effort. It can be very simple. It can be as simple as picking up garbage on the road that you drive every day. It could be offer to help babysit for a stressed out neighbor. It could be as simple as clearing the snow off an elderly neighbor's sidewalk or mowing their lawn. There are many benefits to volunteering. The benefits of actually volunteering are immeasurable. Health effects listed in NewsweekShowcase.com article lists the following. There's lower mortality rates, you have less depression, and there's a greater sense of self-worth and trust. Some of the community benefits are volunteering in as much for the volunteer as it is for the recipient of the volunteer service. You become truly part of the community. This brings us to how we go about and get involved in volunteering. The first thing you need to do is take charge of your life. Identify areas in which you can volunteer. Set aside time and make point of volunteering. Involve your family and friends. In conclusion, I would like to reiterate that you get more out of volunteering than what you put into it. You can imagine rewarding feeling of seeing a smile on someone's face from the generosity of your time, energy, and resources. I would like to leave you with these two thoughts. One is a quote from Martin Luther King Jr., who said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" The other is a paraphrase of President Kennedy's 1961 inaugural address. So, my fellow classmates, ask not what your country can do for you, but rather what you can do for your country.